right, let's go. Hi, it's Henry, and I'm back in Lisbon with another hotel you may want to check out the next time you're in the city. This is the NUMA Rato, which is located in the Príncipe Real neighborhood of Lisbon. And cutting to the chase, this is an easy recommendation, but before I do the tour and everything, I need to give you a bit of information on what the NUMA brand is about. They call themselves Europe's leading fully digital hospitality provider. I think what this generally means is that the interactions you'd normally have with a front desk or with concierge, you'd have digitally instead. So moments after I booked the room, I was sent a message over WhatsApp with check-in instructions, and on the day of arrival, I was sent a 5-digit code, which is what I used to enter the building, use the elevator, and to get into my room. This room is the medium studio with kitchenette and terrace. They have other room options as well. There are smaller ones that don't come with the kitchenette or terrace, and there are also bigger ones that feel like a larger studio apartment. As you come into the front door, we have this storage unit. Pretty standard bathroom. I do, though, like this green wall tile. I think that's really nice. The bedroom/kitchen furnishings in here sort of make me think of an updated mid-century modern style. I like it. I think it suits a lot of different people. Over here is the kitchen. Covers, I think, most of what people need. There's an espresso machine and pods, sugar and things like that. I actually kind of like these mugs that they have. I think they did a good job with that. Over here is an induction stovetop. Oops. Up here, we've got an assortment of dishes and cookware. There is also a microwave, a little fridge. They offer boxes of water, which is nice. Their website also mentioned welcome snacks, although I didn't see any when I arrived, so no snacks for Henry this time. The NUMA Rato has 77 rooms, and it just opened last year, so everything still feels very new and clean. So I've said this before, I really like having a kitchenette in the room, even though I had no plans to do any real cooking in here. It's just really nice to be able to make coffee in a spot that's designed for it, and then to be able to take it out into the terrace to have in the morning. I really like that. Good morning. As far as building amenities, there are a few. First I'd mention is the luggage storage. So it's really nice to be able to drop your bags off if you get in before check-in, or to leave them there if you have a later flight or something like that. Something really key is that they have a laundry room, which is really nice because I've been flying through clothes. And in fact, I'm actually doing laundry right now. There are just a few things that the building doesn't have. Because of their fully digital system, there's no front desk, there's no gym, there's no restaurant. What they do offer, though, is to connect you with the hotel across the street, which is the Mama Shelter. Did end up going to their rooftop restaurant, and that was really nice. To be honest, there's so many restaurants in this area that I don't think anyone will miss not having a restaurant on site. I also went to a bistro down the street called Madame. They do a really good steak. And then there's also a restaurant called Selllva. They have a really cool decor, and I think they do breakfast foods all day. I had a really good breakfast burrito there. So a bit more on NUMA, because I hadn't heard of this brand before coming across this place. They have all different types of properties, from hotels, service departments, to even hostels. Like many hospitality brands of this type, they offer a free membership system, which allows you to have things such as early check-in, late checkout, and other offers. NUMA also has an app, which from what I can tell offers similar information to their website, but you can also use it to unlock doors. I never ended up using this though, because once I did the code a few times, it was just easier for me to do that than to use my phone. So I did run into a couple of issues with their digital first approach. I found myself having to message their WhatsApp a couple of times with questions about the room, and it didn't really work out the way I was hoping it would. With the first request, I just asked whether it would be possible to get an earlier check-in because I got into the city fairly early. And after a couple of exchanges, it became very clear to me that I was interacting with a kind of chatbot. It asked a couple of follow-up questions, but it didn't really seem to understand that I was asking for an earlier check-in. And eventually, it said that it wouldn't be possible. But then in about half an hour later, I got a notification from the app saying that my room was available. So I think there was just a disconnect there somehow. And then the second issue that I ran into was with the air conditioning, which was off when I came in, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it on using the screen. So I messaged them on WhatsApp, and after a few exchanges, the chatbot just seemed to give up and said that there was an issue with its system, which was kind of weird. But then it turns out that there was actually a tiny button on the top edge of the AC box that I had to press in order to get it to turn on. And so I figured it out on my own. And in fact, I'm traveling with a friend, and in his room, there's actually a little sticker that says on off on it because I guess other people have run into this issue before. Both of these issues in the end were resolved and it wasn't that big of a deal. I would just say that at the moment, it was pretty frustrating having these exchanges with the chatbot just to not have it go anywhere. I really like this area. It feels very central still, but it's a little bit more quiet, and I really like that. The Rato metro station is not far from here, but we're also really close to the Marquês de Pombal station, which is about like a 5-minute walk from here. And if you're visiting Lisbon and want to do the hop-on, hop-off tour, the main pickup point is the Marquês de Pombal, so it's really close to here. Oh man, the weather's so nice. So I just got back from doing the hop-on, hop-off tour. The tour itself that we did was the Green Line, and it was about an hour and a half to do a loop. The Green Line goes through Alfama, the Moorish Quarter. I'm really glad we did it because it's super hilly, most of it, and so it's not really something you want to navigate by foot. You'd be exhausted. The one thing I would note though about the bus tour is that the guide that you're listening to on the bus, I think 90% of the time, you're mostly listening to music. I think I would have liked it if there was just a bit more information about landmarks and the significance of the places that you're stopping by. I'm still happy with it because I got to see a lot, so that's cool. Okay, so let's talk costs. So I'm here in the September period, which, by the way, I think is the nicest time to come to Lisbon. And for 4 nights, this room came to 627 euros, or about 156 euros a night. And looking at the different hotels and other accommodations in this area, they were definitely a little higher than this. I find the style of apartment hotels or service departments to be very appealing. I think it works for a lot of different types of travelers, whether you're here for work or you're here for vacation. So I'm going to keep an eye on NUMA. I think what they're doing is really interesting, and I've seen a few of their other properties on their website that look really cool. I actually just read that they opened up a new location in Brighton, which I'm very curious about. I would recommend for people to check this place out if they're looking to come to Lisbon. I think it's a great location, and for the price, I think there's a lot of value in there. And so I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please give this video a like, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.